In this video, I'm gonna show you every single tool you need to make $10,000 per month online. And this isn't just some random video. This is coming from someone who has over 1 million followers across all platforms. That's right, I'm really good at juggling, but that's not the only way that I've made money online. Sure, I make money from ad revenue, but I also run an online Shopify store selling juggling balls, an online school community teaching juggling. But that's not all. I've also made tens of thousands of dollars with my YouTube automation channels. Here's just one of them called Story Told. And more recently, I also started a social media marketing agency, which is now at over $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And on top of all of this, I've been 100% transparent about the exact amount of money that I make and how for the past 3 years. You can scroll through on my Unfiltered channel and see that I literally make a video showing exactly how much money I made at the end of every single month, but also the exact sheet that I use to track my exact income every single month will be linked in the description of every single video that I make. So if you want to see exactly how much money I'm making, you can just go to the description and see for yourself. It's literally a public spreadsheet that anyone has access to view. So since in the past 3 months, I've made over $15,000 in revenue every single month, I'm now going to go through every single tool that I've used to be able to hit those numbers and the entire stack that you need to hit your first $10,000 in a month. I've organized this into 12 separate categories to break this down. And as the video progresses, the tools are going to get more and more gatekept that you can use to really get an edge on other people. And if you want to be able to follow along during the video or save all of these tools in one simple document, I'll have the document linked showing the entire tool stack down in the description below. But let's get right into the first category, which is communication. So firstly, it is very important that you're able to communicate online to be able to make any of these businesses work. Whether you have clients, whether you have team members, whether you have customers, you need to be able to communicate with them. And so all of the communication platforms I use are free, but in order, here's the ones that I use. So the most important one for me by far is Discord. I use Discord servers to organize my businesses. For example, my social media marketing agency is completely done through Discord. Everyone in the team is part of that. And I think it's also just an easy, quick way to communicate that has messaging, calling, and video chatting all in one. Next, I think this is a bit underrated, but Instagram DMs. Oftentimes you can send DMs from your account and people will very likely respond. And because of the fact that my account actually has a decent amount of followers, it's a lot easier for me to get a response from someone from a cold DM. So I was able to acquire a lot of the first clients for my social media marketing agency through Instagram DM as my main form of communication. From there, we have 3 of the more simple ones, which is using email, which is better for like more professional stuff, but I tend to not use it as much. And then you have iMessage or WhatsApp, which are better for faster communication, and WhatsApp for when someone's not in the same country as you. The only last thing I would add to that list is Google Meet, which I use for any remote meetings with clients whenever you need to do a video call. So now that you have every online tool you need to communicate, let's move on to the next category, which is what social media platforms are important for you to use. In almost any business nowadays, having a social media presence is important and helpful. So let's go through what I think are the most important ones. The first social media platform that I think takes priority over every single other platform is YouTube. The thing is though, YouTube is very hard to build an audience, but overall is the most rewarding once you can build the audience and get good at it. So my recommendation would actually be to start on short form platforms until you get very comfortable on camera. Then you can pivot to making longer form YouTube videos, but overall YouTube is my #1 platform. From there, my #1 shorts platform is actually TikTok. The reason I like TikTok is because it's really to record videos inside the app, and it actually has a decent ad revenue program. So once you get to 10,000 followers, you can actually start making good money for the videos that you make. From there, we have every other short form platform. So we have YouTube Shorts, Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. All of those you can build a big audience from, and some of them even have their own ad revenue platforms. But since recording in TikTok is easiest, I just record in TikTok and then I use a software to automatically post all those videos to other platforms. So you can see here on the dock, I have it. It's called Repurpose. And basically what it allows you to do is connect all your social media accounts into one place and then set up automations between them. So you can see here, for example, I have all of my videos on my account Fly Juggler from TikTok being automatically reposted to Snapchat. You can do the same to any other platform. I have it going from TikTok to Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and even Pinterest. Then lastly, we have an honorable mention for the text-based platforms like X or Threads. To be honest, I don't use them probably as much as I should, but they can also be very effective. Moving on to the next category, we have content creation and editing tools. When it comes to editing, I think CapCut is the best to get started because you can start for free and you can start literally on your phone if you want to begin editing. So CapCut is basically all you need to get started. And then if you need basic graphic design to get started, I would use something called photopea.com, which is basically an online free free alternative to Photoshop. Once you get better at everything though, I would recommend trying to switch to the Adobe suite, which has Premiere Pro and Adobe Photoshop, which are both better at graphic design and video editing than CapCut or Photopea ever will be. However, they do have a bit of a steeper learning curve, so again, I would probably just start with CapCut. Another alternative for design, by the way, is Figma, which I think is more helpful for like website designs or app designs. Then we have OBS Studio, which I use to record a lot of my videos. If you're gonna be a content creator and you're gonna record anything on your desktop or for YouTube, OBS is something that you must use. Then when it comes to researching what videos you should make, I'm a huge fan of a tool called vidIQ. If you look up how to make money on Snapchat, you'll see that I rank #1, and it's all because vidIQ helped me find the right keywords to rank #1 for that video topic. So I really recommend vidIQ for keyword research. Again, it's the reason that I've been able to rank #1 with a lot of the videos that I need. And then last, if you're not gonna be voicing over the videos yourself, then using 11 Labs is probably the best AI voiceover on the market right now, so I'd highly recommend 11 Labs for that. Now, moving on to the next category, we have content repurposing and scheduling. This is one of the most important ones because it can save you a ton of time. And so the first one that I have under this category is repurpose.io. We just went over this tool, but once again, it saves you an absolute ton of time because you can use it to just automatically repost all of your videos to other social media platforms, and you don't need to spend any of the time manually doing it yourself, which, let's be honest, would just take forever. One other cool thing about it that I haven't mentioned yet, by the way, is not only does it automatically repost any new video that you make and upload to whatever your main social media platform is, it also can automatically repost all the old videos as well. So if you have a bunch of videos on TikTok, but you've never posted to YouTube, instead of having to download all of those and then start scheduling all of them, you can just go to repurpose, select it to start scheduling all your existing content, and then have those automatically posting all the way up to 5 times per day. So that is just pretty overpowered. And again, one thing that makes repurpose really nice. If you instead want to be able to schedule content on a bunch of different platforms rather than having to manually post and then repost a bunch, I really would recommend OneUp as the alternative. This is what I use for my social media marketing agency. For this, you kind of have a couple options, but OneUp and Hootsuite are the main options. But the reason I like OneUp is because it supports more social media platforms, and you can see the entire content calendar in one place, which is just very nice. Lastly, sometimes you will need manual work. So in that case, I would recommend getting someone to actually manage the post for your channel. In some case, this would be if you need someone to upload with a specific sound in the app. And since you'll probably need them to log in, I would really recommend getting a friend to be able to do this for you. And moving on now to number 5, we have cloud storage and syncing. This one's pretty simple, so this will be fast. Basically, for my main one, I use Google Drive since I think it's just easiest and storage is pretty cheap. When I'm on my Windows computer though, I do use OneDrive since it automatically syncs to desktop very easily, so I think that's also pretty helpful. When I sync stuff to my phone, I use iCloud because it's just the easiest to get an iCloud link and send that to my editor. And then overall, I think if you're opening a drive that you want shared between your team, getting a Google Workspace account and making an organization where you share everything within that shared drive, I think is the best. Moving on to the next category, we have AI tools. The first one we all know and love is ChatGPT. I use this for essentially like virtual assistant tasks, advising tasks, and writing stuff. So if I need contracts written, I have ChatGPT write out that full draft, and then I change it if I need to. Next, as a scriptwriter for videos, we have Poppy AI. And a lot of people don't know this tool, but I think it's actually super heavily underrated. It basically is like ChatGPT on steroids. You can train your script off of any style. So in this example, I trained it off the Learn with Shopify style, and then you can give it whatever video you kind of want it to have the information from. So I fed it my own video about Snapchat and then rephrase it in the style of this girl. And I'm not gonna go through the whole script right now, but I gotta say it does a really good job and actually got all the information right, which was extremely impressive. So for script writing, I think Poppy AI is a great tool. Then if you need that script turned into a voice and you're not gonna voice it over yourself, 11 Labs is the best AI voice generator. But let's say you got your script and you got your voice and you just need an AI avatar. For this, I would use HeyGen. I've actually used HeyGen to make some AI videos myself, and here's how good the results can actually look.
Hey there, I'm Ruby Reyes. And yes, it's totally possible to make money from Snapchat in 2025.
Let's be honest, that genuinely looks pretty real. And if you add on video editing and B-rolls, that'll look very, very good. And then the last one I think people can use that I've just started using now is basically any automation tool. So this would be like Zapier, N8N, or Make.com. All of those websites allow you to do automations between platforms. I've now just barely started using them to automate some specific things, but if you want to use those as well to automate tasks that would normally have to be done by a virtual assistant, then I'd highly recommend that. But moving on to the next category, we have hiring and team management. For hiring, I really recommend a website called ytjobs.co. The reason I'm a big fan of YT Jobs is because you can actually be 100% certain that the people who you hire have actually worked for the YouTube channels that they talk about. So for example, if I go here and look at this editor, we can see that he has 4 verified clients, some with millions of subscribers. And what that basically means is these YouTube channels had to connect their YouTube account to YouTube Jobs, then click verified on all of the channels shown here. So that's basically 100% proof that that person actually worked for those channels, which means that you're getting someone who's pretty vetted and very trusted. And you could hire for all different types of positions like web designers, video editors, graphic designers, thumbnail designers, like whatever you need, YouTube Jobs typically has. And I think it's one of the better ways for you to do a hiring process. Next, for team management, we have ClickUp. Once again, there's other alternatives for this, but what I like about ClickUp is it has a bunch of different views, so you can view the videos in list view. You can also go to the Trello board style, where once every video is revised, you can move it to the next column, or you can also look at it from a calendar view to see what videos should be going out on what day. And I think it's just a really neat, efficient way to organize a team around something. Similarly, we have Notion. I think ClickUp is better if you want something more complex. Notion is a lot easier if you just have something quick that you want to organize and manage it through there. And then when it comes for any SOPs or docs or information that you need to send someone, I typically just use Google Docs because that's the quickest. So moving on to the next category, we have payments and financial tracking. When it comes to billing clients, Stripe is by far the best thing you can use. There's so many different custom payouts you can make. You just send them a link to what you need them to buy, and then you can set recurring or one-time payments. I use this for my social media marketing agency. It is by far the best way to collect money from clients. Then for just transferring money, we have PayPal, which is easiest for the US. And if it's something outside the US, the 3 options that you have pretty much are Wise, Payoneer, or Remitly. All of these work, as well as crypto, although I don't typically use crypto. So that's payment processing. Now we have financial tracking / accounting. For tax purposes, I recommend QuickBooks. The reason I like QuickBooks is because you can connect all your different financial accounts into one place and then decide which transaction you're marking for your business and which ones you're not, as well as the category for all of them. And then by the end of the year, you'll be able to do your taxes way easier because you'll have all your earnings and expenses in one place and what category they were, which is relevant for taxes. For personal accounting, I think Monarch is the best tool right here. It has automatic tracking and updating of your net worth. You can connect all of your different financial and investment accounts into one place. And it also has what I think is one of the most cleanest UIs of all time that lets you easily break down where all the sources of revenue are coming in from and then all of the sources of your expenses are coming in from. So for all my personal tracking, Monarch is what I now use. I used to use Google Sheets, which also can be effective, but Google Sheets is a lot more manual versus Monarch is a lot more automated and just has better UI. So that's what I use. Then for storing your money, I pretty much have 2 places, which is bank accounts and investment accounts. For banking, I use Chase Bank, and then for investing, I use Vanguard. Now, moving on to the next category, we have filming gear. So firstly, one of the biggest essentials is a MacBook. This is what I'm using right now, which means that even if I'm traveling, which I am right now, I happen to be in the Netherlands, you can still pretty much do everything you need from a single place. So I like Macs because they're very portable and very easy to take wherever you want. Next, we have an iPhone. If you don't have a camera of any sort, you can literally just use an iPhone and it gets the job done very well. If you want to upgrade your camera, I actually am using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is kind of like a vlog camera. It's a little bit hard for me to show it. For me to show it, I'll need to take a video of it with my phone so you can see what it looks like. But it's a pretty good camera and it basically also automatically lets you track your face. You can see here, I'm just moving and it's automatically tracking me. So I'm a huge fan of the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and I highly recommend it. It's just overall way better than a phone and it's what I'm using to record this very video. Then we also have the DJI mic. Now, whether you record on your phone or on a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 or whatever you record with, having one of these wireless mics are super nice because the quality is very, very good. Once again, it means that you can record everywhere. And so I highly recommend the DJI mic, but I think the Rode mic also works well. Then some simple things, and the links to the exact ones I use will be in the doc. But you have a tripod, a ring light, and more recently I got the Meta Ray-Bans so I can record in first person whenever I want and I can just talk and explain stuff and you guys can watch this entire footage in first person. So yeah. Moving on, we're getting towards the end now. We have websites and hosting platforms. So for hosting anything e-commerce related, I really highly recommend Shopify. It's just the best sites for being able to see all your orders, fulfill them, etc. Then for hosting online communities or courses, I think school.com is actually quite good. I do think long-term, it's not the most optimal thing, but if you're a beginner and you're just getting into things, I think School is one of the easiest to get set up and you get everything all in one place. So I recommend it. And that's, again, what I use for my juggling community. For your link in bio, I recommend beacons.ai. The reason I like it is you can have multiple links and track all the stats of where the links are coming from. And then lastly, this one's a bit underrated, but I also use something called Link Twin, which basically lets you turn your normal links into deep links. Now, a deep link basically means that your links will now open directly in the app that you're trying to get them to open to, instead of it opening within that social media platform's app. So for example, on Instagram, if you try to click on a link, it'll normally open up within Instagram's own in-app browser. But if you use a deep link, it'll automatically take them off Instagram and to whatever app that link was intended for. So if it's a YouTube video, it'll take them directly to the YouTube app. And so I've been using Link Twin to do that and increase my conversions. Moving on, we have security and utility. For security, there's really two main things that I use here. The first is NordVPN. A big part of the reason I use it actually is because if you just teleport to other countries using a VPN, you can often get subscriptions for cheaper. So all of the things I mentioned in my video today, a lot of them you can get for cheaper if you simply just VPN yourself to another country and then buy it. But it's also good for browsing privacy. Then for number two, for password management, I use Bitwarden. Now for utility, which is just basically apps that I think are helpful, it's iCloud because it's easy to sync and back up videos that way. Number two, Google Calendar. I use this to just organize my day and know everything that's coming up. And then three, Apple Notes. When I get an idea, I want to write it down extremely quickly. So I just use the Notes app to be able to write stuff down quickly and jot that idea. And now moving on to the final category, number 12, which is extra monetization and affiliate tools. The first one I'm going to mention here is Blastoff Music. This basically allows you to make extra money by just playing songs that Blastoff has in your YouTube shorts. And so by simply adding those songs, you get to make extra money from that. So if you're going to be putting a short with music anyway, you may as well use something like Blastoff to increase your earnings from what it already would have been. Next, we have WAP, specifically WAP Content Rewards, which basically allows you to enter any open source campaigns. And some of them will pay you for just putting a logo on your video. Some of them will pay you for music, and some of them require you to actually do clipping for specific people. So I've used WAP to make an extra basically $1,000 from just posting videos I was going to post anyway, and all I had to do was add music. Pretty similar to Blastoff in that way, but it also works across different social media platforms. Number three on this list, we have PartnerStack, which is basically a marketplace for affiliate marketing. So with PartnerStack, you can find brands and companies to work with that will pay you based on affiliate commission of the people that you're able to bring in to that thing. It's helpful, but I think the best way to do it is to actually look up public-facing affiliate programs. So if you wanted to find the affiliate link for QuickBooks, you might just look up QuickBooks affiliate, and then it'll show up on Google with the affiliate program, and you can just sign up for that for free. And that's my entire tool stack that I use to have made over $10,000 a month for the past 3 months. Again, I'm going to leave a doc in the description so you can use any of these tools that you want, but just know that even with the best tool stack in the world, it does take time to actually start making money online. And so learn to fall in love with the process and enjoy it. And over time, use these tools to help make yourself more effective during that process. So once again, whatever tool you need, you can go to the doc in the description, follow along, and always have access to this entire tool stack. I'll be updating it over time, so it might be something that you want to bookmark so you could always come back to. And as per usual, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video, and peace.